Hey, what's up, guys? Man, hey, damn, my heart, my heart.
Man,
They almost gave that
man.
joint away, Texas. I know yours was pumping like blood all through your veins. You could have gave a
Hey,
heart transplant. But what's
man,
up?
look, man. Hey, look. I was terrified, man, for the last 2 hours, man.
Hey,
For real.
this is after the podcast post game show. We're gonna wrap up this Tigers win over FAU. I'm with my guys, Cassius McGowan, and then the Hall of Famers. Y'all know him as Marvin Orange. Look, man, what a great game that was. We're gonna do our post game recap. Talk about the Tigers win. Want to get the player of the game as we saw it, and then what's up next for the Tigers. Marv, let me come to you. You're our basketball guru. Man, what do you think about that game? What did you think about the Tigers? We've talked about their effort and how they've been playing the up and down roller coaster that they've been on. From your perspective, what did you see in the Tigers today in this win against FAU?
Well, I mean, I think if you're a Memphis fan, you are encouraged, right? Because the thing that we have been talking about all year with them is they were Jekyll and Hyde. You didn't know who you were going to get. I think the biggest thing that jumped out on the screen to me was the effort. The effort was just
Mm.
there, and it's the small things that win basketball games, right? The offensive rebounds. I think they ended up having. I'm looking at here 21 second chance points tonight. That's effort. They got 18 points off of turnovers. Turnovers comes defensively, playing with
Yeah,
effort. They schematically Penny mixed up a lot of defenses. I liked out of some made points tonight where he went into like the 3/4 court press. He changed up some looks on FIU to not allow them to kind of get that rhythm because they're a rhythm basketball team. And if they can get that passing game going on offense, get those cuts, those back cuts going, create some open looks, they start to get a rhythm. They never were allowed to really get a rhythm tonight. And I think that Penny did a really good job in forcing them to play through Golden. And that's not what they
Hmm.
really want to do, right? They
right,
don't really want
right,
to play through him.
right.
And Penny made it a point to say, we're gonna make you play through him that kind of affects what you do offensively. And the kid had a good game because he's a good player, but that's not what they want to do. So you got to
Yeah,
give him a lot of credit for that defensively. I think that the effort was there. The turnovers, no turnovers, that's been their bugaboo all year, turning the ball over. Quinerly Jones, I know you guys are gonna touch on that. Played an excellent game from a turnover standpoint. There are some things that still worry me that I'm sure we'll get to here in a second about them offensively, but
yes.
but but the effort tonight or the effort this afternoon, that'll win basketball games for you. So I was glad to see them come out with the effort and really come out, kind of put this game away, even though it seemed like they wanted to give it away at the end. But
Man.
good win for Memphis. We could sit here and harp on a lot of stuff, but they've been so up and
Yeah.
down. I think a win like this is really good. It gives you a lot of confidence to not probably play your best, going down the stretch and to still have enough to win a basketball game. It does a lot for your confidence, and it's a good way to see them win a game.
Absolutely,
Man.
absolutely. To your point, Marvin, 6 turnovers for the game. Hell, Cassius, we
Man.
talked about it. You and I have talked about where Quinerly had 6 turnovers in the second half before, and so
Man.
so excellent protecting of the ball. They didn't shoot well. They're not a
Hmm.
great shooting team anyway, but the
Right.
effort of offensively rebounding the ball, defensively was there. Cassius, talk to me about what you've seen as far as how the Tigers have strung together. Now, 2 very impressive wins, 2 very impressive games that they've strung together. Talk to me about how you
Hmm.
feel about those back-to-back wins, with the second one coming today against FAU.
Man, I feel great, man. Like it's like I'm on a high right now. So it's just watching them play as a actual team together. It's only certain times during the game they were kind of off and they missed their assignment, but they played as a team. Like you said at first, Marv, they didn't have a great shooting game. But look, man, look, the turnovers were low. They went toward the rebound. They played with intensity. And look, man, I was happy. And then tumbling their first half. Man,
Kept them
look,
in, kept them
hey,
in.
he
Right.
was beasted. I was hearing the announcer. They was like, he looked like the old DeAndre. Yeah, we got another version, man. We got a younger version. We cashed in, and now Tumbling, he's our younger version of DeAndre. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. Look, like I
Listen,
said, hey, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead, Mark.
he definitely set the tone for them. I mean, he came out. He clearly came out with an objective, and his objective was to bring energy, was to rebound the basketball, was to be a presence
Mm-hmm.
inside, and he made it a point to be that. And the
Yeah.
team you could tell that they started to feed off of that, even on the sidelines and the timeouts. You could see them getting up in people's faces, like, let's go," you know,
Mm-hmm.
like we got something to prove here, and effort goes a long way in basketball games in
Yeah.
terms of making up for mistakes, right? Like you said,
Right.
Cassius, they didn't shoot the ball well. I don't think they shot the ball really that well off. That's just not who they really are. But
Mm-mm.
effort can make up for that, right? You know, there
Right.
there are some critical moments where it gets back to me about coaching with Penny more so than anything else. Like for instance, guys, you know, I don't want to nitpick because again, a win is a win and it's really good. But when it was 31-30 coming down towards the end of the first half, right? They had just made a stop, call a timeout. There's 30 seconds to go. They're up 31-30, and Jones gets it. They call a play out of timeout, and he ends up getting it with about 7 or 8 seconds left, and what they get out of the set is a 35-foot air ball, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Mm.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and then FAU ends up not capitalizing because they don't make it with the 8 seconds left to finish out the half. But
Right.
those
Right.
are moments where you build momentum. You start to put a little bit of distance, you know. And I know it's not a big point spread, but confidence wise, coming out and running your sets and getting a good shot, it makes it different. That was just really, really baffling to me to watch. That's the shot you get out of the timeout, right? But
Yeah.
again, I don't want to take too much away from it because the effort was there.
yeah. Mark, for
But
me, go ahead, Cassius. Go ahead, Cassius.
no, no. I was saying from there because today I think, as far as watching the Tigers, they were playing with a handicap too. So you remember you got the big guy in the middle, man, Malcolm. He wasn't there. So that's the reason why the other guy was eating so much down low because you had Jordan, but Jordan did a great job. Like I say, as
Yeah,
far as rebounds, 8 rebounds, and he did his damnedest to stop. Hey, hey, that guy was feasting today. But Jordan did a great job stopping him on some plays, and like I said, they were playing with a handicap. So I guess the game plan Penny had at first, he had to waver from it because Malcolm couldn't play today. But they still, like I said, the second half they came out and played with a lot of energy like they did the first half. And like I said, Jones got hot and they put it off.
Mark, for me, there's one thing that Penny gives David Jones a lot of freedom, right? He gives
Yes.
him a lot of freedom to shoot when he wants, to create when he wants. And to your point on that last play, you call a timeout, you set that play up. And he just pounded and pounded and pounded the ball too long. And then he got to do what he did. He went into his own little thing and got that and just took like you said, a 35-foot shot. I think coming out of the timeout, make sure you run this play to your point, Mark.
mm-hmm.
Let's get
Mm-hmm.
this action coming in, and because it's going to serve them well down the stretch, right? To your point, your execution matters, right?
Mm.
Execution matters, and I do think. To your point, David Jones having that freedom sometimes takes them out of their flow a little bit.
Yeah.
Jordan, to me, played his best game. I've been very critical of him,
Yeah.
Cassius, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he played his best game today. He fought hard. He rebounded well. He scored inside. He made a critical three for the team. I thought it was a great effort dealing with that because that big guy was a problem for
Oh
FSU.
yeah.
He was a problem.
Man.
He's a very skilled big man around the basket.
Yeah.
So I like his effort today from Jordan, one of my players of the game, just because of his effort and how he fought all game long. Marv, Quinerly, you know Quinerly very well. He transferred
Yeah.
to Memphis from Alabama. Cassius has been, I'll be honest, and Cass, you can speak for yourself, but I'm going to
Yeah.
say this, he's been very critical of him. What
Yes,
have
I
you
have.
seen from him, Marv, this year with Memphis that you didn't see at Alabama, did see at Alabama, or that's not going on with him? Because early on, he was great. He's really kind of struggled a little bit in the second half. What are your thoughts about him, Marv?
You know, it's the same thing that you saw at Bama with him. Like, here's what we do know: the boy got the ball on a string. He's one of the best creators with the basketball. Herky jerky, keep people off balance. Like, he can get anywhere he wants to on the floor, but sometimes he overthinks the game. It's like sometimes you want to be too cute with it, and it's the same
Mm.
thing that we saw with him in Alabama, where where get to your spot, create for yourself, or create for a teammate. And sometimes he just does a little bit too much with it. And I see him doing the same thing with him at Memphis. But one thing that I will say tonight is Penny let him kind of shoot himself out of the slump, which I
Yeah.
liked. He kind of let him just shoot himself out of the slump. And
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that it seemed like Penny came into this game saying, Quinerly and Jones, do you. All
Do
right.
you?
Y'all,
Yeah.
you guys dictate how this game is going to work. Nobody can stay in front of Quinerly. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you this. I've
Mm-mm.
been watching the kid for 6 years. He's really, really good with the basketball. And as a point guard, when you can keep people off balance, his stop and go, his different speeds, he's really good at it. So
Mm.
I want to see him get to the paint a little bit more and then find guys to where he can make defenses collapse and find people or look for his own shot because he's really good at it. But I saw him do it tonight really effectively, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
second half. And it's kind of what got Jones going because FIU
Yep.
had to collapse a lot on him because he was getting into that
Mm-hmm.
paint. And especially down the stretch in the second half where they was having to collapse a lot. And then he was kicking to some of those guys, which, they weren't making the shots, but it still is an action that you love on the basketball court. So that's what I want to see them do a little bit more down the stretch. Put it in Quinerly's hands, live or die with it. Penny, tell him to be a point guard. Get in, make
Yeah.
the actions happen because nobody can kind of stay in front of him and Jones play
Yeah.
his game. So that's what I would like to see. And I think if you get that effort matched with the ball in those two guys' hands the majority of the time and let them dictate how the game
Mm.
goes, and you get Tomlin with that effort and you get those guys defending,
Yep.
they were collapsing. They were collapsing like hell on that defensive end.
Yes, they
Anytime
were.
FIU got into the lane, it was a body there. So,
Yeah.
and then they recovered really, really well. So, I really love, I've been critical of Penny, but that defensive effort tonight by Memphis, it was really good to watch. So
Yeah.
I'm encouraged by what I saw.
You
Yeah.
know what? Like, hey, hold on, wait a minute. Shout out to Joe Cooper, man. Joe Cooper, hey,
Joe.
spotlight to you, man. Look, you did a hellified man job playing defense and subbing in, man. Look, hey, you gave us great minutes, man. Really, hey, and I like their energy, man. Hey, him and Tomlin, they had a lot of energy, man. And like I said, Cooper, I watched him. I said, okay. First of all, I was like, wait a minute, who is this dude? And I
Is
go
that
to
the
all
number
the,
20? Is that number
That's
yeah,
number
20?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came in and steadied that team. I mean, I like his headiness. He's tough defensively. And so he
right,
came in, and he's been playing the last few games. And Penny
yeah,
has shown it up and got his energy in there, and his effort
yes,
has been great. Cassius, you and I have been critical of Jaden
yes,
Hardaway
yes,
on this
yes,
season. We've both been critical of him. Marv, you have as well. He played a very, very good game as well today. I
yes,
like what
yeah,
he did. I like his effort. He helped out in the ball handling, made some big
mm-hmm,
baskets. So I like the fact that now Penny's sort of tweaking that lineup, keeping it a little
yes.
tighter now as they go down the stretch. Find out who you want to play, and those when they come in, they're getting the effort from those guys. So I really enjoyed the role players today. Let's use one of Shaq words, the others, right? The others, how they competed today because
Yeah,
they play for Memphis, and you saw it in this win. Mark, for me, uh, uh, what's very underrated about Memphis because they don't really shoot the three ball well is how little they post up at all. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
yeah,
saying? And David Jones can post up. He can play with his back to the basket. But
yeah,
the lack thereof. Now, when Dandridge was going, and Cassidy, I think about the game against Tulane. He was killing them in
yeah.
the post.
He was
But they
killing them in the
don't use
post.
their post their back to the basket, Marv. Will that hurt them? You think that's going to hurt them in the AAU tournament? And if they get into the NCAA tournament, that they don't have a post presence or a low post game?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's important to get easy buckets, right? Sometimes you got to be able to throw it down there and get an easy bucket here or there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys gotta. Don't mind me. I'm fighting something. Getting a little bit sick over here, so I'm trying to fight
Uh
through it.
oh,
But
uh
All
but
right.
oh.
but sometimes you got to be able to get easy buckets in the game, and the jumping not always going to be falling. The
Mm-hmm.
penetration game not always going to be falling. I do think you got to find somebody that can get you 6 to 8 points when you can come down and drop it off. Sometimes when you need it, I think you need to
Mm-hmm.
try to find that, especially when you get deep into the tournament. It's necessary to have a guy that can get you some buckets inside. But you
Right.
guys pointed out number 20, the Cooper kid. Here's what I
Mm.
noticed. Here's what I noticed with the game. sometimes you don't have to stop people defensively, right? When you guard in a point guard, or you guard in an off guard, and they score on you, it's not about getting scored on. It's about making it difficult, right? It's about giving them different looks. It's about making them have to think about somebody guarding you. And that's what he
Mm-hmm.
did with their point guard tonight and some of their guards. They had to think about the pressure he was applying on them, and it changes where you start your offense from, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes FIU, they like to start their offense right at the 3-point line. They were starting it off at the hash at some points because he was so far up in them, and it makes you
Mm-hmm.
have to think about that. And when you start your offense from different parts of the floor that you're not accustomed to doing, that changes the way your offense works, and that changes the way the flow goes, and you could see that. So
Mm.
I wanted to point that out. I didn't know the kid's name,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah,
but
Cooper.
but
Absolutely.
Yeah.
but they really changed the intensity and the way that FIU ran their offensive sets because they were defending so hard, and they didn't stop him every time, but it still gives you something to think about on the offensive
Yes.
end of the floor. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point, guys.
And for people who watching right now, hey, thanks for joining. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. If y'all have anything to say about this great win for the Tigers, say something about it. Hey, because hey, I'm happy right now, man.
I like the fact that now with these 2 wins that Penny's starting to define his team. To your point,
Mm.
Mark, bringing in the young man to put that ball pressure on him, really define. Like I said, he's cut that rotation down, playing
Yeah,
people. And he started to define it because it had just gotten too out of control with trying to get these guys to step up. No, to your point about coaching, Mark, you have to put your will as a coach on that team and play the ones that's going to get you to that victory. And I love how the Tigers defensively finished. They didn't shoot the ball,
Yes.
they made some turnovers, but
yep,
those last 3 possessions for FAU, they were into them. They rebounded the basketball, they got the defensive rebounds, and they won that game. So perfect win for them. Cassius, who was your player of the game? There's some obvious choices. There's
Yeah.
David Jones, there's Quinerly, there's Tomlin in the first half. Who is your player of the game for the Tigers win today?
The obvious choice would be my boy DJ, but we wouldn't be in that position if we didn't have Tumlin given what he gave the first and second half. Look, that man had a hellified game. Look, man, that man, look, right now, this man, I'm trying to see 8 rebounds, 21 points. Look,
Mm-hmm.
hey, look, without that push he gave us the first half, we wouldn't be winning today. So yeah, I have to give it to my guy Tumlin. Yeah.
All right. Mar, who do you thought for the win, the player of the game for the Tigers were going getting this win over FAU?
I think me and Cash is thinking just alike. I think Tomlin. I don't know how else you can go anywhere else at this point because he kept them afloat in the first half. The energy,
Mm-hmm.
the defensive rebounding, the offensive rebounding, the points. Jones and Quinerly took a little while to kind of find their rhythm, and while they
Mm.
did find that, he kept them afloat. But it was the energy. He set the precedent. He set the energy for this basketball game in that first half, and they sustained it. His
Mm-hmm.
teammates fed off it, and they sustained it in the second half. And Lee, you made a great point. Like the offense didn't win the game for him.
Yeah,
Jones,
they did.
great ability to make shots. That's not what won this game. They won
Yeah.
this game on the defensive end. They got stops when they
Mm-hmm.
needed to get stops. And that's how you win games in college basketball, getting stops. Everybody will tell you that. Offense is not always going to be there. But if you can get stops and you can stop other people from getting runs on you and having to call timeouts, that's as good as putting up 30. So
Mm.
Tomlin, to me, he affected the game the most and got them to a point where, they sustained it in the second half. So that's my player of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Tomlin was huge. He definitely was. DJ, I just love watching DJ play. I mean, that dude is smooth, man. He
Oh
is
yeah.
smooth. His slow ball fake Marv, and he's just a smooth player, man. He's going to be a great NBA player as well. My player of the game is Jordan because the way he fought in there. I mean, and his statistics are not going to jump off at you, but he fought defensively with the big guy. He offensive rebounds, 2 critical putbacks in the second half.
Mm.
He rebounded defensively. I think about the ball that he dove on the floor for when he sort of
Yep.
injured his shoulder. He
Mm-hmm.
was extremely active. And to me, it was his best game he's played really all year that I've seen of his being active. He's being engaged. He hit a critical 3. So I'll give it to Jordan simply for his effort today, and being down Dandridge today and not having his size against the big guy because they certainly needed it. Jordan played a huge game, and so I'll give him my player of the game for his effort today.
Now we go. Now we get to the where are they now? Right. You
Yeah,
got two.
yeah,
You got two big wins. You got a game today that really showed some growth as a basketball team and some heart. This was a who you gonna be today? Like who what you gonna show up and do today? You Sunday, hardly no other games on. You one of the only men's basketball games on today. Who you gonna be? Right. And they showed up and showed people who they're going to be. Now the idea is how do you sustain this? Are you who we think you could be, or do you resort back to what's easy, to what they had been coming into this game with all the inconsistency? So that's what I look for moving forward. If we can get another game like this, and I'm not even talking about scoring a lot of points, the defensive consistency and the effort, that's what I want to see in the next game. And if you can get that, watch out for Memphis. Okay, if they can sustain that, watch out. But that next game is going to be really important for me to see.
To get that from Marvin, damn, I don't know. I don't know. To get that from Marvin after the last couple of Memphis thoughts we had, I'll take it. But I don't know. He must be ill. He must be ill. That's all.
He said he feeling kind of hot. He feeling kind of hot.
I'm a little under the weather, but I'm not under the weather.
He said he's delirious right now, Lee.
He's delirious, just like Eddie Murphy. Hey, now, Candace, what do you think about what's up next for the Tigers as far as these? I think they have 3 conference games left. They do play FAU again at their building here coming up very soon. So what do you think what's up next for the Tigers, and where can they go?
Man, like I said before, the Tigers right now, if they run the gamut and go ahead, I'm knowing right now they're playing who's the next 2 games? They're playing UAB and ECU, and then they go on to Florida Atlantic and playing them at home. If they run those 3 games, and then they're going to give, and if they beat them handily, NCAA the games we won the first part of the year, I know we had a slump the past couple of weeks, but how they're putting it out right now, I think the NCAA should give us a bid for the NCAA tournament. But if they don't, they got to make sure they run the gamut in the AAC tournament so we can ensure they're big ticket. But I know if they keep playing like this just off effort alone, because they have the skill and the scores just off effort alone, the Tigers, they can take this all the way.
Yeah.
To me, before you go, I'm gonna say this real quickly before you go, because I know you got something to add. Here go my prediction real quick. If they can end the season with 5 straight, the 2 they won, get these next 3, they get a win in the tourney in the conference tournament, they're gonna get a bid. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They'll get a bid if they run the table to end the season and they look good doing it. And the effort part is the part that I'm looking for, and that's what the committee going. If we can get that consistency down the stretch, you get a game or 2 in the conference, I don't think Memphis got anything to worry about. They'll get a bid. So that's where I am with it.
I was going to ask you that, Marv, because I was going to ask you, you answered. I was going to ask you if 2 wins against FAU within that streak would put them back on the bubble status for an at-large, because I differ a little bit from you in the fact I think they have to make the finals, and then I think they'll be an at-large team if they run the table. But to your point, you had a lull, and there's a lot of teams that lost 3 or 4 games in a row. I think of some of the ACC teams. But it's how you finish and how you're playing. And those 2 victories against FAU would be huge with the way that they're playing. So I think they would have to go to the finals to be a shoe-in, not win it, but go there to be because the AAC, it's a very competitive conference.
Yes, it is.
It's very competitive. And I think if they can get to the championship game, then they're a shoe-in for an at-large berth. But if what I saw tonight, the togetherness, the way they were talking to each other, picking each other up, that looked like a totally different team, the third iteration of their team. And I think they're set up to play very well down the stretch. So I'm looking for big things from them. And I do think they're headed towards a participating in the NCAA tournament. So excellent comments.
And shout out to Penny Hardaway, man. Penny Hardaway, look, we gonna always have doubters in Memphis and abroad. But look, I'm a homer because I'm from Memphis. Anyway, I'm a homer, man. So look, shout out to Penny Hardaway, man. You did a great job today. Look, you were a man down, and there was an important man that we actually need, and he did a great job coaching, man. For what they had today, they did a great job.
Yeah, yeah. Marv, closing comments from you about today's game or anything you want to add about before our Tiger wrap up.
Listen, y'all know I'm not a big, huge Memphis fan, right?
Oh
But
man,
listen.
Hey,
You know, I'm a
man,
Roll
we
Tide
got
all day,
haters
every
everywhere,
day.
man. We got haters everywhere, man.
But listen. They encouraged me today, and I liked what I saw because what I saw were guys who came out and wanted to prove a point, and that tells me that they hadn't quit on their coach. That tells me that they got a lot of pride in that locker room, and that tells me that Penny probably looked within himself and said, "I need to make some changes too in the way that I approach this team." See, and that's the result you get. That's what
Absolutely.
you see today is the result from people going within and saying, you know, it's us against everybody. What do we need to do to correct this? And the effort tells me everything, man, because it would have been very easy for them to just kind of wrap it up and just be like, man,
Yep.
let's just get done with this. I've been there. I know how it feels on that level. So that effort was huge for me. So I'm encouraged for Memphis. I did it, well, like you, Cassius. I'm a Penny fan. I want to see him do well. I really do. I question some of his decisions from a coaching standpoint, but today he pressed all the right buttons and they played for him. So I'm excited. So let's see what Memphis can do.
Yeah. Hey,
Man.
Marv, hey, Cassius, keep this copy, man. I want to keep this copy. I mean, in case Cassius, in case we have to pull it out again, I want to keep
I
this now. But
mean,
anyway,
Oh,
I
okay.
I
Yeah.
might be clowning them next week, but you know,
Hey,
look,
hey.
I agree totally with what both of you guys said. Look, Coach Penny Hardaway, I love how you tighten that rotation. You brought that Cooper kid in there. He played tremendous. That tells me, look, we're going to win this game the way I want to win it now. And
Right,
Marv, to
right,
your
right.
point, very good point. This is how I'm going to approach these last games. Either you ride with me, either you come
yeah.
along with me, or I'm going to leave you behind. That's what I think Coach Hardaway is doing now. That's the right move because you have the talent on that team to be successful. You have
Look,
everything that you need. Hopefully, we get Dandridge back and we get that thing settled because he will be huge down the stretch. But kudos to the Tigers. Tremendous win today, and let's carry it forward. Let's carry it forward, man. This has been a great. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm
You
just
know,
got
trying. I'm just trying to say this right now, so y'all didn't bring up the way Alabama got took to the back of the
oh, they got
woodshed
drugged. I
last
mean,
night by Kentucky, and made
yeah.
us look like little teenagers
No, well, you
yesterday.
know, I see. I don't throw salt on you when you got an open wound. That's what I'm saying. I don't do that. We just gonna
hey,
enjoy this Tiger victory. I don't throw salt.
yeah. Yeah,
But
hey,
hey,
you know what? Another thing is we even say shout out to Jaquan. Jaquan, you had a good game today. Look,
he did. He did.
man, looks. I got to show my guy love. Walton, look, you had a great game, man. Look, 5 points, 11. Man, five rebounds, 11 points. Look, some of these shots were questionable, but hey, most of the game. Well, you played a hell of a game, and I love it, man. Like I said, it was a total team effort today, and look, and I loved it. Being a homer, Tigers all the way. Go Tigers, go Tigers,
Okay.
go Tigers,
I
go.
mean, because y'all know I was fully prepared to come on here and
Yes,
crucify
I
Oh,
know.
Penny.
I
I
know
was
this.
fully
I know.
prepared.
Hey,
Cassius,
Because some of them sets, some of them offensive sets they ran in the second half, when they went in that zone, and old boy that shot 29% from the 3 point, and he shot that three, and some of them, boy, I was ready to crucify Memphis, but I can't
hey,
fault the effort. I can't fault the effort.
well. Let's say this though. They're never going to be a great shooting team, Marv.
Now,
They don't have, other than David Jones. Now, Quinerly is a big shot maker. I don't think he's
Tomlin,
just a
Tomlin, Tomlin is nice too now.
Tomlin is both. He's a scorer as well, but I'm talking about knockdown, drop
Oh
dead
yeah,
shooters.
yeah,
They don't
yeah.
have those type of players, so their offense is always going to be a little stagnant. But as long as they're active on the defensive board and they're playing
Mm-hmm.
defense the way they played today, and having that game played on their terms, right? That game
Mm-hmm.
against FAU was played on their terms. Then
Right.
they're going to be fine going forward. So I like where the Tigers are. I like what's going on. Let's keep that up. Let's keep doing the things that we want to do, and then maybe Marv won't be so tough on Coach Hardaway and the Tigers. So hey, any other closing remarks, Cash, before we get off?
Man, look, like I said before, thank you all for joining us. Like I said, if you have anything to add, y'all can put it in the chat. We can put it on the screen below, and so y'all can show y'all Tigers some love if y'all have something to say. If not, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Man, look, we're gonna have more of this. We're gonna be covering everything: Tigers, Grizzlies, and then all sports around. But you know what? Like I said, go Tigers, go! Go Tigers, go! Go Tigers, go!
I'm Lee Jones. That's the Hall of Famer, Marvin Owens. This is our guy, Cassius McGowan. This is After the Buzzer Sports Podcast, the Memphis Tiger wrap-up show. We'll see you next Tigers win.
Peace out. Peace out.